we have a good time over here. We talk a lot of things over here, and we have a good time. And then at some point, debauchery comes, and then it's just all downhill from there.
Cause I rewound I rewound. I said, wait a minute. You got titties.
That's
Satana. Ashley was at home with the two Omen babies, Damien and Damien Jr. Hee ha, Damien 666, devil child. Because when you're the spawn of Beelzebub and Satana, that's what happens. The bearded lady, her mammy Sheila came over. Y'all want to know what the girls are saying? The girls are saying that this was a shoot for his OnlyFans that went awry. They went in there, they did the licky licky sucky sucky, you do me, I do you shit that Brashear do for his OnlyFans, and they filmed it down to the Homewood Suites. And the girls, the internet porn sketch, they'll tell you all the stories. You know, I did a whole video about how Lady G, Lindsey Graham, does the lines of coke off of the penises of the escorts down to the weekly Republican Party sex parties. You remember they shut down fucking Grindr when they had the RNC convention last summer. Child, listen. You talking blue pills, rhino pills, honey packs, and everything else known to man be rolling all through the streets of DC when they get ready to go to these good sex parties that they have. Y'all could have went and got something to eat. Y'all could have went and did something else with your life. You ain't have to watch. That's what we do. When y'all have y'all all white performances, maybe we go get us a eat. Some people go take them a smoke. Some people go get them a drink. Some people get a quickie in down to the bathroom. When you had somebody's Super Bowl party and you saw somebody cute and you told them to follow you in the bathroom so y'all can have a quickie while you suck them up, they suck you up, and you get a quick bust down, all in the 5 minutes that you that the halftime performance happened. Not that I would know anything about having a quick bust down at a Super Bowl party I was invited to. What do y'all want from me? What do y'all want from me? The man ain't shit. His cabinet ain't shit. And all of those acolytes and sycophants that happen to be black, what did you get for all of that ass kissing, for all of that schlobbing his knob and hanging from his testicle hairs that y'all did? Y'all ain't get a goddamn thing.
Please listen. This is how we know there is a God that sits on high and looks down low. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know he watches me, because I knew that there was a God when I looked on the X, formerly known as the Twitter, and I saw it wasn't no more Sean. I knew there was a God when I looked on the Instagram, and there was no more Krishan. I knew there was a God when I looked on the snap of the chat, the snappity of the chappity, and looked, and there was no Krishan. I knew there was a God when I looked on the Facebook, the book of faces, Mark Zuckerberg's playground, and I saw that there wasn't a Krishan. My God today, my God today, my God today. Let the people say amen.
Okay. We're here. You know, as I am making the new intro, I really want it to be longer. Like, my mind is like, the new intro right now is shorter than the current intro. And my mind wants it to be like 5 minutes, to give me a full 5 minutes to get my life in order. Like, I need that extra time. I'm just saying. And y'all probably looking at me like, bastard, you already take too long for that raggedy ass intro. Hurry up and get the goddamn show started. I know that's what y'all saying, because I be saying that sometimes when I be watching other channels. I be like, hurry up and get this shit started. Probably come over here to be waiting 10 minutes for you. I'm just saying, but I mean, but I do understand, as a YouTuber, you know, there are things that you have to do behind the scenes. hmm It's the perils of being a YouTuber and having to get everything together. Together. Cha. Yeah. Anyway, welcome to Run Your Mouth. I am your host, L Teddy 27, here to do all of the things, give you all of the news, politics, headlines of the day. If you would please, sir and ma'am, hit the like button so that we get infused into the algorithm. Um, Also, if you are watching the replay, hit the hype button. I don't even know what a hype button is. I don't know where it is, but I heard that there's a hype button that you can click in addition to the like button. So if you would do that, that would help us out a whole lot. Okay. So, what's going on, y'all? How's everything doing today? Y'all know we got to shoot the shit before we get into the get downs of the get downs. What's going on? What y'all got going on? Huh? Huh? Let me say hey to y'all. Hey, the inform. What's going on, sir? Antonia, how the hell are you? Hey, Tracy W. Hey, Tracy W. How are you, Tracy W? You okay today, Tracy W? How's it going? You know, I'm so elated to see you, Tracy W. Oh my God. We could not do the show without you being here, Tracy W. I am so glad you're here. Is that suitable enough for you, Tracy W? Or do I need to do an additional somersault or cartwheel? Put on some ice skates and do a, quadruple axle or something. Anything else you need from me, Tracy W? I'm just saying. Lord. Hey, Terrence, what's good, bro? Terrence, it's a lot going on. Terrence, we got a lot going on. Terrence, our report today from the war. We have a lot to report. Oh, Terrence, it's a lot. What's good, bro? Hey, Jocelyn, what's going on? Cassandra, how the hell are you? Tamra, it's good to see you on the front row, as always. Hey, Demetria, what's going on, boo? I know we have to be informed about our serious matters, but after that, can we get some foolishness? I need lots of laughs and prayers today. Well, we always have the foolishness and the foolery and the foolala. Mm-hmm. We always do. Hey, Universal Goddess. Hey, beautiful. What's going on? Cybera. I'm so glad to see you. Hey, Janine. Hey, Yolanda Morgan. What's going on, sweetheart? Child. Child. I've been getting updates all the way up into this program. Child. It's a lot going on today. Hey, Savon. Hey, crazy homebody girl. Listen, I was on Al Jazeera just before we got on, getting all of this news about the We got a lot to talk about. That's why I was like, we got a lot to talk about there. It's a lot going on. Hey, Candace F. Hey, Montrez, what's good, bruh? Cha. Right, no, I was there for the replay people. They can, click the hype button. You ready for the week to be over? Child, me too. Hey, T Lee, what's going on? How you doing? Rosanda, what's going on, sweetheart? What's up? What is up? Listen, I don't even know how this shit gets in my algorithm. I have no idea. Angela, my love, what it do, beautiful? What's going on, Angela? What's going on? And again, Angela, if I see you getting close to my man, you already know who it is, Angela. It's gonna be a problem. He over there struggling with his braces and stuff right now. He's having a hard time with the braces, but I got my eyes on you, Angela. Let me find out you getting a little too close. Just saying. Hey, Sweet Pea. Hey, Marty. Hey, Steph. Child. Hey, Ravine. Ravine, what's going on? You all right today? You all right today? Mm-hmm. I hope so. I don't think I saw you yesterday. Where were you at yesterday, Ravine? Because I sure ain't see you yesterday. Didn't. I don't know where you been the last couple of days. Where you been at, Ravine? Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Hmm. Hey, Brown Mama. Hey, Miss Felicia, what's going on? Listen, so the week has been in such it has been for all of us. So, okay, update. Here's the update. Okay, so update from yesterday because I told you a certain somebody was coming over yesterday, right? And there was gonna be questions asked. Hey, Tracy C. So, so here's the update. Okay, so last night they came over, and we was doing what we doing. The rain started. Big spoon, little spoon, and all of that cuddling and all of that stuff. And so, they got around to it. You knew they was. They got around to, hey, what we doing? What this is? What's going on? And so I just laid it out there, and they were okay with it. They were like, okay, I don't have no problem with us, taking it slow, but I don't want to just be some random that's just coming over here, for a booty call. And I was like, no, that ain't it, because I don't do booty. Well, I was about to say I don't do booty calls for that long, but that's not true. I've been known to have a stash, right? And when you have a stash, like I used to have, I mean, my whole days are over. But I used to have a stash where I had one person for every day of the week, and they knew their day was that day. And I knew their names, but when I would talk to my friends about them, I'd be like, "Oh, Wednesday came over or Monday came over," because each one of them had a day of the week. And if they missed their day that week, they couldn't get it again to the following week. I mean, this is what we were doing. You know your day. You know what day you come over. We're not deviating. Don't come over to my house no other day. I'm just saying. Um, but so back in my day, and I would keep that stash for like a year or two. I'm trying to tell you, I did not deviate. That's how you stayed safe, honey. You don't deviate from the stash, just having a whole bunch of randoms. You keep the stash. That's the whole point of having the stash. Okay? That way you ain't out here just all over the place, getting ran through. Anyway, um, so I said, hey, let's slow walk this, see how it goes, see, So I am gonna go over there and I'm gonna spend not the whole weekend, but after I'm done with Silly Saturday, I'm gonna go over there and spend the rest of the weekend over there. My plan is to come home Monday morning, but if it get good to me, I might take my work. I'm gonna take my work computer either way, and I might work from over there on Monday because he can and I already told him, so he said if need be I'll do a work from home because he can either go into the office or he has so many days during the month he could do work from home, so many days during the month. So he said if he needs to, he'll do a work from home, but I probably won't do that. I'll probably come home on Monday so he can go to work. So that is the update. he Y'all, and so he asked me, "Does this mean that you still gonna be seeing other people?" And I was like, "Well, you know, I'm not gonna say no, but nobody else is talking to me right now, so I'm just, I'm ain't nobody else, in the rotation or nobody else trying to, get with me right now, except for maybe 4 for 4, and that's not happening." Well, thank you, Carl. What's going on, Carl? Thank you. I like my little duckies. Anyway, so I told him, I said, but hopefully, we can submit this before anybody else tries to come my way. You know how they say it's only when you're either with somebody or in the process of getting with somebody that everybody want to come out the woodwork and try to get with you. I mean, when you single, you just be over there single by yourself, nobody paying you no damn mind. But as soon as you got somebody that you know, wants to wet your whistle, then everybody want to come out the woodwork. Mm, I don't know. I just want somebody to come over and spoon with, and maybe occasionally get my back cracked. Maybe about 4 times a week. I only want my back cracked 4 times a week. I mean, I only, I'm only trying to wrestle every other day. It's not like I'm trying to wrestle every day of the week, but every other day is good. That ain't too much to ask. All I want to do is wrestle maybe 3, 4 times a week, every other day, and then spoon every now and again, and call it. And then we can go out and hang out a little bit. Go get something to eat, go out a little bit. You know. That Tracy W agrees with me. That ain't too much to ask. Every other day, I ain't asking for every day. Every other day, you do some wrestling, wrestling. I'm good for a good wrestling session. You know what I'm saying? Cha. Yeah. Anyways, my rubber duckies, they say hello. Hello. The rubber duckies are saying hello. Okay. Say hello to the rubber duckies. They're saying hello today. Anyway, we are going to, because I was running late today. I got caught up trying to make sure I was up to speed on all of the stuff that I needed, and all of the news that was breaking out of the war. And so I did not get a chance to um pull all of my stuff for our primary season. So we're gonna forego our 2026 primary season updates for today. But before I forget, because I am known to forget, again, don't forget our field trip, which we are looking forward to. Let me. This is for our correspondent. Let me drop this for the correspondent. But hey, Sharice, what's going on, my love? Let me drop the information for the uh um the field trip. Y'all, I'm gonna have a good listen. I'm gonna have such a good time on this field trip. Those who come on the field trip, just know we're about to have a good time. And anybody who's hung out with me, they will tell you, if you hang out with me, a good time will be had by all. I am better in person than I am on screen. It's people who hung out with me in person. Janaida hung out with me in person. Terrence, Ravine, Tracy, C. Several people have hung out with me in person. Tanya. It's a whole bunch of people. Universal Goddess. I would like to think, and you can ask the people who hung out. I am a much better time in person than I am even on screen. Like on screen, I'm like here. In person, I'm like here. And we all have such a great time. I have a wonderful time with people in person. I'm a much better experience in the same space. A much better experience. Uh-huh. The one tell you family, excuse my tongue, I almost chopped my clients. Oh wow. In one of his shit. Lord. Hey, butterfly, I'm glad to see you here. Hey, Miss E, you sent me did you? I gotta go check it. I might not have seen it, Ravine. Send it again. My mind bad, Ravine. Yeah. Brown Mama say Tracy C is definitely a great time. Hey, Miss Shorty B. All right, let's go ahead and put a Shondo in the chat, people. We did have a time, didn't we, Janae? Go ahead and put a Shondo in the chat. Let me know y'all ready to get started so we can, because we got a lot to cover with the water. I see you. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, non-binary, gender-conforming members of our audience, I bring to you the late great Larry Myers to help us usher in our sugar spike segment.
Oh, God. You see, this is the part that I like.
Major sugar spike.
So love the world. I want to fight. That he gave his only begotten son.
Major sugar spike.
And who shall ever believe
Major sugar spike.
they shall not perish, but have everlasting life.
Taste the biscuit.
Jesus. Thank you, Larry. So let me bring up our senior golf correspondent today, Terrence. Terrence, bruh,
Yeah, that's all I can say about what's been going on
bruh.
over the past 5 minutes. Like as we were coming live today,
As we were coming, that's why I
uh,
was a little late. That's
like
exactly why I was a little late.
I'm literally watching a Malcolm Nance report on a different screen, trying to catch up with what he's saying, so we can make sure we're giving the people the most accurate, up to date information about this developing situation because this happened, and what we're talking about, people, is El Teddy, if you could in the background bring up the
Google
Google
Earth.
Earth. Yes,
All
sir.
right.
So
All
remember, y'all, we reported here that if that the port city of Bandar Abbas is one of Iran's ways to transport or to move oil around the country, and that it was also right there by, if I remember correctly, Bandar Abbas is inside the strait, but inside the coastline of Iran also. Um, remembering that correctly, well, y'all, today, the port city of Bandar Abbas was attacked, and nobody's claiming responsibility for it yet.
right.
There are reports stating that the
That's Bandar
U.S.
Abbas. Hold on, let me give them a visual.
Yes,
That's
sir.
Bandar Abbas is this region right here. If I zoom out, it's
Hmm.
right by Kashim Island. Now let's be
Hmm.
clear, Kashim Island was also bombed today.
Hmm.
That came out today as well. I'm sorry I interrupted you, but
No,
I
no, 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 no.
just to
You're
give
good
them
because
the
I hadn't gotten that. I hadn't gotten that they hit Kashem. I heard Bandar Abbas and the oil terminal at Bandar Abbas, the villages, and the fishing villages in and around Bandar Abbas. That's why I needed that map because I was like, I think there's more stuff right there. But
um
y'all, it's this is what happened today, right before we came live. Now, what happened yesterday, right after we left the air, was a cessation of all hostilities and a 14-point plan sent to the Iranians for their review. That happened after we got off the air, but that was a ruse. That was a cover up for El Teddy. Would you please let the people know what that was a cover up for?
for the fact that I mean, we called this yesterday.
We sure
We
did.
called this yesterday. We
We
said,
sure
did I
did.
not come on here and said they could really be saying, oh, everything's over just before, just to throw them off before they just lose their fucking minds?
Hmm.
Did we not just say that yesterday? We literally were on here yesterday saying that. And today, all hell has broken loose. All hell has broken loose today, okay? Hey, Montrez, what's good, bruh? Listen, um, well, a lot of things have happened. There was an oil tanker that was fired on about an hour ago.
Yep.
And what's my update on that? Hold on, the oil tanker. Hold on, let me, because there's
Getting
so much going
updates.
on, y'all. I
Like
I, I just I can't keep up. I can't
stuff
keep
is
up.
literally happening like like we said, y'all, stuff is literally happening as we speak. That oil tanker was fired at. Those two cities in Iran were also fired at. In addition to that, Saudi Arabia has told the United States, "You will not use our bases to support
Well,
any further operations
that
in and
well,
around the
wait.
area."
Let's stop right there. Let's stop right there, Terry, because that was the big news of the morning and
It
yesterday.
was, it was.
So of the morning and yesterday, okay, y'all. Let me timeline this for y'all. So Monday, you got Rubio and Kegg's Breath and anybody in the Trump administration announcing Project Freedom or whatever the fuck it was called. Remember that? That all happens Tuesday, right? Hell, oh, it's no longer Epic Fury is over. We're in Project Freedom. Tuesday, that was Monday. Tuesday comes, your president puts a truth social out announcing, because of the success of everything, we read that here on this platform. It's Project Freedom is over, and we're in peace talks with Iran. That shit did not sound right. Me and Terrence was over here on Tuesday saying, yeah, that shit ain't true. That don't sound right. So then last night, it was reported. I think I'm trying to think who was first to do. I think it was NBC News. Somebody reported it first, or maybe it was
It was Al Jazeera reported it
Al
first,
Jazeera. Okay,
but in the states, the first people to pick it up in the states, I want to say was MS.
MSN. Okay.
I think so.
So what happens in MS now? Yeah. So what happens is it's learned that the reason Project Freedom had to be shut down is because Saudi Arabia said no go. You will not fly. You will not use any bases here in Saudi Arabia. You're not even allowed to fly over our airspace at all. You cannot use any parts of our airspace. You can't go to any of your bases here in Saudi Arabia at all, which means you can't do a fuck thing in the Middle East if you cannot use any of the Saudi airspace. Like that's a no go. Meanwhile, Terrence, have you started to see more people, even the UAE, the Emiratis are now saying that they don't think it was Iran who hit Fujairah, that they're
Huh?
believing that it was the Saudis as well. Like I
Huh?
said yesterday.
I was traveling yesterday and couldn't get a good signal. As you were saying that, I was in the car like, yep, 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 yep. That all tracks. That all tracks. That's all of this tracks. I mean, how is he the only one seeing the writing on the wall if I'm sitting right here? Like this is all tracking to be what could have been a potential false flag attack or a deliberate. Hey, Saudis, we're just gonna go in since shit's already fucked up here. We're just going to go in and try to cripple these guys because we know that they are going to start producing oil the second that all of this clears up. They're going to start producing oil. It's going to drive all the oil prices of every other country down. In order for the Saudis to continue to make money, they need to keep oil prices per barrel at about somewhere between 75 and $85 per barrel in order for them to be profitable to do this. It's it reeks of we did this, we did this. We know you know we did this, but we also know that you can't prove that we did this. So because right now nobody has any hard proof that it was the Saudis or that the Saudis were involved. Everybody just has a whole bunch of speculation. That's the part that's the only thing saving the Saudis right now. And then also today, did you see that there was a joint statement from the UN with the GCC in the US?
I did not. Wait,
Oh,
I
oh
missed that
wow,
one.
sir. Oh yes, sir. There
Oh,
was
yo, I try
like
to
I
keep
said,
up on these things.
like I said,
Oh, oh wow.
and that's why we tag team back again out this because there's so much happening with this, y'all. One, I missed Kashim Island being hit, and then El Teddy missed a UN resolution being proposed and championed by the one of the GCC nations. The thing is, we watched the press conference. Janae and I watched the press conference, right? And the whole time that I want to say it was the Qatari, no, I'm sorry, it was the Emirati ambassador to the UN. The whole time he was talking, you could see the UN ambassador from the United States, Mike Walls, the disgraced former cabinet secretary, Mike
Dear
Walls.
God.
Um, you could see him back there smiling like the cat, like the proverbial cat that ate the canary, right? He's sitting back there just the biggest shit eating grin you've ever seen in your life. Then they pass the mic to him. And as they pass the mic to him, pause the video because I do this thing where I start reading once somebody who is normally a detestable figure starts talking, I give them about 5 to 10 words, let them get through a couple of sentences or so, and then I pause it and I look at all of the body language of everybody in the background. El Teddy, the body language of everybody in the background of that video stated the following things. Damn, I can't believe we let them talk us into letting them do this shit. Now we got them talking us into backing a UN resolution to try to undo what they did. Damn, I look like fucking Boo Boo the Fool right now. That is what I read off of everybody's face up there. It was
So
crazy,
let me make sure. So the UN resolution is basically a resolution to take us back to February 27th.
more or less. Or it's basically to get. Oh, it's basically saying that the UN resolution basically states that they want to go. They want to enforce a different, older UN resolution that was agreed upon by all nations of the UN. They want to go back and reinforce that one with these new measures, which would be basically saying, hey, Iran, we condemn what you're doing, and you've got da amount of days to comply with this UN resolution or else. Now, here's the problem with that. They've got to go to
UN.
the Security Council.
The problem with that also is the UN has basically had their legs cut from underneath them because nobody gives a damn. The United States and Israel does whatever the fuck they want to do with reckless abandon and could give two damns about the UN. The UN has been condemning what Israel has been doing in Gaza for the last 2, 3 years now, and they don't give a damn. The UN also, if you remember, the first week of the war, condemned the United States for bombing Iran.
Mm-hmm.
And
Sure did.
so I think Mike Walls knows that they're going to take whatever the UN does and wipe their ass with it.
He does. And but here's the thing, y'all. When we talk about the UN Security Council, there are four permanent members of the UN Security Council. They are the US, Russia, China, and one of the European nations. Can't remember if it's France or if it's England, but these are permanent members of the Security Council. In order for a resolution not to pass, in order for it to get vetoed, only has to be one of those countries. And two of those countries are very close allies of Iran. So if they only take it to the Security Council, it will never see the General Assembly floor because it will get voted down. It will get vetoed right then and there. So this is basically all ceremonious at this point in time.
That's just all for show at this point. Here's what I'm thinking. So today you got going to back to our trusty Google Earth. We have Bandar Abbas has been there are explosions and bombings in Bandar Abbas, Kashim Island, which they call Shark Island. There have been explosions over on Kashim Island as well, which is the one here that looks like the shark. Now, in addition to that, there was an Iranian oil tanker that was fired upon, according to the Iranians. An Iranian oil tanker was attacked, and Iranian's military, according to news outlets, is saying that Iranians military fired missiles at quote enemy units end of quote, following what officials described as a U.S. attack on an Iranian tanker in the Strait of Hormuz. So, if I'm to believe the reporting from news outlets, there was an enemy attack, which they're saying is the U.S., on an Iranian tanker. Iranians then followed suit and returned serve and fired missiles at the enemy unit. According to the Iranian officials, if I'm to believe what they're saying, they said that the enemy units sustained damage and left the area. This is in addition to the explosions and bombings in Bandar Abbas, as well as Kashim Island. What that sounds like to me is, if this is actually U.S. Military doing this, they're trying to, by brute force, reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Because what's happening is this: normally, when people go through the Strait of Hormuz, normally they go this way, straight up the middle, and come out, right? But instead of coming straight up the middle, as Malcolm would call it, the TSS, the traffic, I forgot
Separation, traffic
separation
separation scheme.
scheme. Thank you, traffic separation scheme. It will go straight through the middle. Now, what's happening is, if you have the multipass, you go
That damn multi-pass.
you go all the way up, and then you skirt Kashim Island. You don't go through the regular TSS. You go all the way up here, skirt up here by Kashim, and then come out because they certify that you paid your money, and then they let you out. That's what's been happening.
Hmm.
So I feel like, if I am to believe all of the reporting that all of this bombing is going on, knowing that the U.S. has been told by most of the countries over here in the Arabian Peninsula, leave us the fuck out of it and don't come over here with your fuck shit. They're trying to force the issue and say, listen, I feel like they're trying to reopen the Strait of Hormuz with brute force. And I feel like they think they can bomb their way into having the Iranians submit, bomb them into submission. That's not going to happen. If that's their strategy, that's not going to happen.
It trying to bomb the Iranians into submission. It didn't work for the Russians. It didn't work for the Iraqis. It's not a sound strategy. Like that country is built different. The people of that country are built different. And yes, Samara, they were supposed to have 1 week to look the agreement over. So basically, what's being reported about that is that the Iranians were preparing to issue a statement either later today or early tomorrow, which would be right about nowish over there.
Y'all are right.
And
All of the GCC countries are saying, please leave us the fuck out of it. We don't want no parts of y'all.
yep.
Stay the fuck out of it.
Hmm. And the thing is that that's very telling, y'all. That is extremely telling. When the GCC is like, okay, yep, this didn't go the way we thought it was going to go. We're going to go ahead and pack up our oil and leave. That's very telling. We, no matter what this administration tells you, no matter what the news tells you, we are not doing well. We just aren't.
You know,
We still don't know what happened to those two aircraft. The CENTCOM has not said anything about it. I have not been able to find anything about it yet. Um, Now we're finding out that they're firing into Iran from where? Where would they be firing from? They would only be able to fire from the ships that are already locally there because guess what? The rest of the GCC has said, as El Teddy reported just now, hey, you can't do that from here anymore. So the net means that those attacks are either A, coming from either long range attacks from Israel or what is more likely short range attacks from our destroyer groups that are right there.
and to add insult to injury, if the GCC countries are saying, leave us the fuck out of it, you cannot use our airspace, you have lost. There is no there's no strategy where you can win this without even the Omani the Omani government, even the government of Oman has said, yeah, we don't want no parts of this. Even and Oman tries to stay neutral. Oman
At
is
all
down here,
costs.
y'all.
At all
Oman
costs, they try to stay
is
neutral.
down here. That's Oman down here. They try to stay neutral. They like, listen, we ain't with nobody. We over here. They're like the Switzerland of the Middle East. They try to stay out of it. Even Oman said, listen, U.S. leave this alone. Now, Terrence,
Yes,
I'm going to
sir.
take you all the way back some 2+ months ago now.
Okay. All right. 2 months.
If you recall, I was here on this platform and I made a statement that sounded so far fetched and so crazy that now seems like this is more apt to happen. I recall being on this platform saying that, oh, there's going to be a world where all of the GCC countries kick the US out.
Uh-huh.
I literally said that this was going back early March, at the beginning of this whole war. I said this shit is gonna happen, and the GCC countries are gonna tell the US, take your military and all of your shit and get the fuck out and leave us the fuck alone. And it seemed far fetched back then, but now it ain't so far fetched. And the thing
It ain't.
about it is, and you may have more details on this, Terrence, than I do. A lot of bases that we have in other countries don't technically belong to us.
They do not.
We
We
are
may
we're allowed
have.
to use it because those governments, the governments of those countries have, made agreements with us, but the bases themselves do not belong to us. That's how we got kicked the fuck out of goddamn Iraq.
Yep. So what we end up doing with a lot of these bases in and around the Middle East, a lot of that, like we lease the land, right? So then we end up building the base on the land while leasing the land, and with the intention of whenever we decide we're not going to renew the lease, that we leave the base intact for them to flow into. Well, after a certain number of years, they may come to an agreement that says, hey, well, we're going to give you guys the base, but we're going to go ahead and hang out. But this would be y'all's base, but we're just going to hang out here. So then you end up renting space at the base. You end up renting things like aircraft hangars, fuel barn space. You end up renting a whole lot of stuff. And if you do anything to violate the status of forces agreement, or former prior service folks know that as the SOFA agreement for with that country. If you do anything to violate that agreement, you, the individual, your family, do anything to violate that agreement, you can be kicked out of the country. Not only that, depending on how egregious it is, our country can be kicked out of the country. Solely and wholly, the country can be kicked out. And that's what is happening right now. And no, they still have not found those two soldiers missing in Morocco. What they're thinking with them is that they fell off a cliff into the ocean. But back to the Gulf right now. It's we're gonna get kicked out of there. Those bases that were there, the best thing for us to do is for us to be kicked out of there. Because El Teddy, just in satellite arrays alone, there are billions upon billions of dollars in satellite equipment alone in and around that area. And a lot of it got destroyed. And those things take years to build.
This will certainly go down. At this point, I have to call it. It's probably even worse than the Vietnam War, and I say that because we will leave whatever happens, whatever agreement. We will leave this war, and Iran will be in exponentially greater positioning geopolitically than they were on February 27th.
Yes, sir. They sure will. I mean, they already. I mean, if you guys think about it, they already are, right?
They're
So when
exponentially
we're
in a better position.
when right, because now they're talking about the agreement, the 14-point agreement that they sent back, which was just Iran's 14-point agreement with some wording changes, but in lion's share, it puts us in a worse position than we were in with the JCPOA. We are going to end up in a worse position than we were with regard to Iran
You,
than what we were left by the Obama administration.
what
We're
I'm
going to
what
be in a far worse position.
one of my intel that I was looking at talking about, and this is out of DC. One of my confidants in DC. says that the memorandum of understanding that the U.S. is sending over to Iran. Do you know where they say the blueprint of that comes from?
Oh my God, it's from like a doctrine from like almost 100 plus years
Woodrow
ago.
Wilson's
Yes,
presidency. The same Woodrow Wilson who was, I mean, it checks out because Woodrow Wilson is one of the most racist presidents in the history of this country that had the KKK marching down Pennsylvania Avenue in front of and you know, that Woodrow Wilson, end of World War One, Woodrow Wilson, who was the architect of some of the most racist policies this country has ever known. And you are using that his blueprint from over 100 years ago in order to make for something today. I mean, it all just checks out. This is
it
what we got
does.
going on.
It really does. And if you notice this, all of the doctrine and all of the policies that he's trying to push this country back to were left behind for a very good reason. And he's trying to push it back. Like like the we left the Monroe Doctrine behind because we could not afford to be that global hemispherical superpower through force. We couldn't afford it. We couldn't afford it with lives, and we couldn't afford it with equipment, and we couldn't afford it with money. So we left the Monroe Doctrine behind, and we just adopted the hey, we just gonna sit the fuck over here and mind our business doctrine. That ended during World War II. Isolationism ended during World War II. Now we're in a globalism type situation where we're everywhere and everybody's interconnected to everybody. And the funny thing about us all being interconnected, all of our countries being interconnected in some way, shape, fashion, or form, is that if one of the countries at the top does something stupid like what we're currently doing, we affect everybody below us and everybody around us at a very large clip because of the level of influence we have. Now, that being said, if we affect people the wrong way, which we are greatly doing at this point in time, it doesn't take much to push us off that top position. And we are in a position to be unseated right now. People say, we have near peer adversaries. Nobody's a peer to us right now as far
Oh,
when it comes to
China's
warfare.
absolutely a peer to us,
And
whether or not
we
they want
d-
to believe it
we
or not.
only have we don't even have a near peer anymore. We have a peer adversary. That's it. Russia is not even a near peer anymore. China is a peer adversary. They can fight at night. They can field advanced technology. It might not be as good as ours, but they can field it. And you, Jesus, be a shield. Economically, they own us. Also,
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
not forget that economically they own us. Between them and Japan, they economically own us.
Well, when you and you got to think, if I'm looking at it from the other GCC countries, when the bombing happened the other day, what was that, Sunday, where Fujairah, it was Sunday or Monday, Fujairah gets bombed, and that was Sunday, and the United States comes out and says, "Oh, nothing to see here. This doesn't rise to a level of ending the ceasefire or violating the ceasefire," and you
Mhm.
just had the only economic lifeline that the Emiratis have being attacked, and you telling them nothing to see here. What the fuck are they supposed to think? They're supposed to think you don't give a damn about them because their tourism has gone to nothing. I think they said they were at about what, 10% or less in terms of tourism, when they're usually in the 90s in terms of tourism there. That's how,
Mhm.
between tourism and oil, that's the bulk of their money. You've already cut off tourism for them completely. Now you're talking about you cut off, they've had their only other economic means cut off in the form of Fujairah being bombed because Hormuz, the Strait of Hormuz is closed, so you can't go on the west side of the strait. So, and you saying, "Oh, it's nothing to see here. It's not that important." So basically, what you've told all of the countries in the GCC, you put them on notice that we basically don't give a damn. We don't
More or
give a damn
less.
about you and what you have going on, unless you're Israel.
Basically, and that's not even basically what they said. That's exactly what they said. Samara, I'm looking for what you just said. She says you got news that Kuwait and Saudi Arabia gave them access back to their bases a few hours ago. Let me see if I can find that, because that wouldn't surprise me. The main reason they snatched the access away is because they weren't informed. That's a big no-no. You do not fly through anybody's airspace without letting them know. You do not launch operations out of their airspace without letting them know. And that right there is something that can literally get you kicked out of the country. Point in case, I laugh about this story because, by all intents and purposes, we might have violated Peruvian airspace at one point in time while I was on active duty, um, by accident on purpose. Uh,
Ki-
one of the pilots flew in and forgot to announce that we were an American aircraft. He just gave it gave our call sign. We came in, we landed, we picked up some pizzas, we picked up some gear, and then we took back off before they could realize that we were an actual American aircraft. And we
So
got
the
a fine on the way out the door.
so the news that I'm getting, Terrence,
Mhm.
that's breaking is they have said that they this is what's being reported that there were three U.S. Navy destroyers near the Strait of Hormuz that were targeted by the Iranian Navy.
Mhm. Them
That
attacks can very
enemy
easily come from those
enemy
destroyers.
ships that they are now identifying it as three U.S. Navy destroyers. Now, if we're to believe the Iranian government, those enemy units were damaged and fled due to damage. Now, we've been saying since the beginning, if you think that you're going to go and take the strait via the U.S. Navy, you are really, you really don't went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, because we showed y'all the terrain at one point of the Strait of Hormuz on the Iranian side. All it is fucking mountains, and the people can sit on the top of mountains and shoot missiles at you over and over and over. So if the strategy by General Kane and Kegg's breath is to just say we're going to send our Navy destroyers over to Kashem and to bomb Kashem and Bandar Abbas, and we just going to get up out of there and all it's going to go well, you're dreaming.
Yeah, you are. You are, because, like I said, I've got friends who transited the Straits of Hormuz before on aircraft carriers, and they literally said from the flight deck, you can see one side of the Strait of Hormuz, and then you can see the other. You can, if you got a strong enough arm and you got a strong enough wind, you might be able to hit the shore of either side of the Strait of Hormuz from a large deck aircraft carrier. You can't miss that motherfucker rolling through there. There's only, what they say, the traffic separation scheme is only like 25 miles wide. The entirety of the Strait of Hormuz is no more than 60 miles.
Which is nothing on the water. That's nothing.
And Tamara is correct. The GCC states have reopened their airspace to the United States. Um, how long before Project Freedom is back on?
I told you we're back at full scale kinetic war because Iran has said that the U.S. Military vessels violated their ceasefire.
Hmm.
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 Because they're claiming Iran is accusing the United States of violating the ceasefire by targeting two ships at the Strait of Hormuz and attacking civilian areas.
Yeah. And because if the villages that the villagers that were to have been attacked, that are being reported to be attacked, are in and around the fishing villages around Hashem Island and around Bandar Abbas. Because here's the thing that everybody else in the world forgets about this region, this particular region of the world. The Gulf is nice and warm. Fish thrive there. A lot of these villages on the coast make their money fishing. There are fishing villages. Everybody there fishes, right? So bombing those areas is one with no bombing those areas with no proof that they are being used for military purposes at all, verifiable proof, is a war crime. You cannot do that. You cannot just openly attack a civilian area. It's illegal. But as we have seen repeatedly over and over again, Kegsbreath, the Fick, Little Marco, fucking Marquane Mullen, and the rest of the freaking First Felons crew, they they don't care about these damn. They don't care about the rules. They don't care about the social norms that we have here, right? Social norm says, hey, we're going to sit down, we're going to stop shooting at each other, and we're going to earnestly sit down and talk about what the problem is and see if we can't come to a solution that everybody can live with. Our administration is operating in absolutes and only in absolutes. And one of their absolutes is, as Iran cannot and will not have a nuclear weapon. Iran doesn't want a nuclear weapon. They're not trying to gain a nuclear weapon. That was never going to be a thing for them. No, the Ayatollah Khomeini, before he died, he had issued a, hey, we're not doing that. We're not going there. We're not going to give them a reason because Iran gets a nuclear weapon. Now the rest of the world feels like they have a reason to go in there, boots on the ground, guns blazing. Not giving them that nuclear weapon, they had to come up with something else. And what they came up with is they've got nuclear dust that they can build a bomb with. Nuclear dust, y'all. We, we bombed the daylights out of a country over nuclear dust that did not exist until
I
we
wonder
bombed the
if we're
country.
going to. I wonder if we're going to get a real report on the uh, uh, the damage to those three uh, um, military vessels.
I doubt will I
We
unless
probably won't.
somebody.
We're still uncovering the damage to the fucking bases.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? We're
and
still
and
uncovering that.
and that I knew something was bro. I'm gonna tell you this, and I'll tell everybody this. I knew something, and something in my soul told me that everything was off when they stopped all civilian satellite coverage of the area.
Yep.
When they did that, I was like, oh, some shit and some stuff is fucked up. And then to find out that all of this happened during the opening phases of the war, when Iran was reporting huge losses on the US side, when when oh my god, what base is that? When Ramstein, Germany, when the main hospital right there in Landstuhl was reporting that they were no longer taking civilian C-sections that were scheduled months ago, had to be moved to the civilian hospital out in town in preparation for incoming wounded. I'm like, incoming wounded from oh shit. What did we do? What did we do? What did we do? Like I'm thinking that the whole damn time, and then come to find out, these bases have been destroyed lack of a better term. They've been destroyed for all intents and purposes. You don't destroy facilities like that and nobody's hurt.
I
It boggles the mind. Boggles the fucking mind.
I think we were a few days early, but we had said on Monday or so that this was
Hmm.
going back to Connecticut. Well, we were just a couple days early, but we've been prognosticating pretty accurately here.
Because
Uh, uh,
this
mm.
because this is it's sometimes it's so unbelievable that you're like, nah, I can't be this accurate. And then you're like, well, damn, I guess I am this accurate. It's scary sometimes, the accuracy of the predictions as far as when things are going to heat back up, when things are going to cool off. Because every week, like clockwork, yeah, technically it's Friday over there. So this is right on time.
Yep.
But they like, we know because it's Friday there, that means it'll be Friday here in a little bit.
Now,
I'm expecting at this point in time a statement from the White House
oh no, no, no.
that's going to
Wait, wait,
affect the
wait.
markets.
CENTCOM. Oh, wait, wait, wait. Oh, hold your
Uh oh.
horses.
Uh oh.
CENTCOM has already stated, quote, no U.S. assets were struck. Iranians are saying that they struck the enemy units, that they were damaged, and because of the damage that they fled, CENTCOM has come right out and said, quote, Iranian forces launched multiple missiles, drones, and small boats. No U.S. assets were struck. End of quote. They also added that, quote, we eliminated inbound threats and targeted Iranian military facilities responsible for attacking U.S. forces, including missile and drone launch sites, command and control locations, and intelligence surveillance and reconnaissance nodes, end of quote. At this point, I don't. Both sides, I can't. I don't know how much I can believe of either side.
Exactly. And I don't think people understand, I don't think the general public understands that when the US, when the US's intelligence and war reports are becoming unbelievable, because the reality is that when it comes normally under normal circumstances, under normal situation, the US is very, very good about reporting its own losses during the war. We are very good about reporting losses during war once the appropriate notifications have been made. We are great about that because normally we don't have anything to hide. However, here lately, if the US says something didn't happen in a theater of war, in a theater of operation, I'm looking to see, okay, does that theater of operation know that that did or did not happen? Because our own news, our own politicians, and our own cabinet secretaries have become so fucking unreliable that whenever they say something out of their mouth now, you immediately go, I need to go verify this against like eight different independent sources instead of my normal three, plus two outside of the country. None of this is right.
This is getting crazy.
None of this is right.
It's getting crazy. I think my well, let me hear. You have any predictions, sir, over the next day or so?
My
It's
prediction
Thursday.
over the next day, since it is Thursday, I'm going to go ahead and predict that Taco is going to say something and then immediately taco out on Tuesday. Um,
Oh, he's going to say something. It's going to rev up tomorrow because it's Friday, and then just before the markets open on Sunday.
the bottom will drop out. Right. Now, that's my prediction from coming from the White House. As far as what's going to happen in the country of Iran and in that theater of operations, man, listen, I'll say this. If Iran actually did hit US ships, feel sorry for all of Kashem Island. And the only reason I say that is because the US has a long-standing policy of don't touch my. It literally got us into World War II. Touching the boats in the Straits of Hormuz during the 80s literally got us into a shooting war with the boats in Iran. The United States does not like when its boats get touched. So if Iran did touch the boats, as much as I hate to say it, oh wait, Samira's got what's Samira saying? Drawing from the strait. Not sure if they were the destroyers were pulling. if those destroyers are actually pulling out of the strait,
That means
one or
that
two
what
things.
Iran said is actually true. Hey, D.
Right,
Johnson, Iran,
right.
I just read it for you. Iran said they fired on the enemy units. The enemy units suffered damage and they began to, leave the strait.
Retreat. Right.
So if that's the case,
Then
then
that
that's
adds some
what,
credence to what they just said.
right. If that is the case, then that means that what Iran said is true. So,
This is,
and
oh my
if,
God.
and if we have destroyers that suffered damage to the point where they had to flee, then you're going to have. I hate to use turn this noun into a verb. They're going to try to Gaza, Kashem,
Oh
and
yeah, they
Hamas.
will absolutely Godify it. And like you said, hate to make it a verb, but they'll raise it to the ground for better verbiage if anybody wants it.
But
They'll
here's the
raise it to the
deal:
ground.
it will be a moot point because they can do that. You can level Kashem Island, Bandar Abbas. You still don't have a victory there. You're
You
still
don't.
not winning. You've not. That's a blip on the map for this big country.
The only thing that you've done, if you do go in there like that, is you've caused a massive ecological event because Kashem Island and Bandar Abbas also have oil terminals. They might not be that big, but they're there. I mean,
I
as
mean, we
far
already
as
have a shit show over in because was it yesterday or day before they were reporting oil slicks off of Carg Island.
Mhm.
And they were reporting that they believed that somebody had struck the pipes, the underwater pipes around Carg Island, and that wasn't getting a lot of reporting, but that came out on Tuesday, and I saw pictures of the oil slicks, um, and that came out on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So your prediction is that he's going to say something crazy
He's
tomorrow.
gonna say he's gonna say something crazy tomorrow, and then before Monday he's gonna walk it all back, and then by Tuesday he'll be going on something he promised because that's just been the pattern. But as far as for the region, I think we're back shooting by like actively shooting at targets again Saturday.
I don't think it take that long. I say probably sometime tomorrow. My prediction is sometime tomorrow this will happen. Um,
And the crazy thing is that even even as we predicted these big events to happen, smaller events that should have triggered large events have happened.
yeah.
Let's not look past that. We've been seeing small events that should have triggered a into the ceasefire have happened all week long, like clockwork, every day, all week. And then we get this big event, and they're guarantee you they're going to still say this doesn't violate the ceasefire agreement.
My only prediction is I know that I don't think it's a prediction that these people are going to lose their minds and start just blowing up shit. That's going to happen.
Oh
But
yeah.
my prediction is that we're going to get more evidence that it absolutely was the Saudis that bombed Fujira. That blew up.
Hmm.
I have at this point you cannot convince me it was the Iranians anymore. It will absolutely be confirmed that it was the Saudis that did all of this. That's my prediction. It's been a big day in the Middle East, sir.
It has been a huge day in the Middle East. I'm gonna keep my eye on this, and
I
if
know this
something
doesn't
real
sound
crazy
good.
happens,
I know this doesn't sound good, but I actually enjoy covering this stuff. It lets me flex my geopolitical brain and let me get into my back into my foreign affairs bag. and so I like it, but it's bad, but good at the same time.
Yeah, you got to
Like,
flex that geopolitical muscle every now and again.
every now and again.
Hell, hell, there's something today about GDP, and that's a strain that we happen to have. I said, "Hey, pass me some of the GDP," and she said, "Gross domestic product. What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
That's how big politics has gotten in this house.
Just so you know, oil prices are going up.
Hmm.
Just so you know, this morning I think we were at about $91 at WTI Western Texas. They're now
Yep,
up
West
to
Texas. Yep.
they're now up to $97, 74
Hmm.
cents.
What
They'll be
about
over 100.
Brett? What about
By
Brett Crude?
tomorrow, it'll be triple digits tomorrow. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your expertise.
No worries, sir. Thank you for having me, and y'all take it light.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is our critically acclaimed, our award winning senior golf correspondent in the form of Terrence. We thank him for his service and all that he provides to us on a daily basis. Thank you, sir. All right. In other sugar spiky news, well, then there's this, and then we have this. So Tennessee went ahead and sure enough passed the redistricting map. Yep, they went ahead with the they passed a new congressional map which eliminates the one blue they had one blue district that you can see here over in Memphis. They have now carved Memphis up, and now there are no blue districts. Technically, there are no blue districts. There were protests in on the Tennessee House floor. Black representatives in the House and the State House and State Senate walked out. Our boy Justin Pearson was dragged out by police and Tennessee state troopers. It's a whole shit show over there. A whole shit show. Justin Jones, our other boy Justin Jones, burned a copy of the Tennessee state map on the floor of their Congress. Yeah, the state Senate, state House. This is where we are. Here's where we are. Now here's the deal. Y'all have elections today. Okay, make sure you get out and vote. Here's the deal. Because listening to my boy Ellie Mistal, who I love. Ellie's so good. Anyway, he reminded me of a Supreme Court case back in 2022 where the Supreme Court had this was a case out of Alabama where Alabama had some racially gerrymandered maps, and they tried to enact said map in 2020. They tried to enact that map in February of 2022. The Supreme Court says, no, you can't do that. That's an illegal map. However, because it's February and it's too close to your election in November, you got to go with the maps that you already have. And then they did that, which was which was an unconstitutional map. And then in 2023, the case was brought against not Louisiana, against Alabama, and Alabama was told that they had to redraw their maps because the one that they had was racist. But they allowed them to do the racist map in 2022. 2023 comes, the lawsuit is brought before the Supreme Court again. They allow the Supreme Court The Supreme Court says yes, we already ruled on this last year. Now they have to change the maps. That's how we ended up getting that second district in Alabama that had Shamari Figures put into the Supreme. I mean, put into Congress. That's also the ruling that happened that said that they were prohibited from changing their maps until 2030. Now, all of this is the reason I'm bringing that up is because the Supreme Court, this same Supreme Court, said then that February was too close to November for them to use new maps. Well, not only did they gut the Voting Rights Act last week, they came back this past Monday and told Republican states that they could expedite it, and they did have permission to change their maps now for the 2026 elections if they wanted to. So they're just making up rules and changing it at will so that it can benefit the Republicans and racist ass people across this country. Here we are. Now, and I know Symmetry, you up there, that's your area. You up there in Tennessee. Here's what we have to do. I keep telling y'all this. What we have to do is vote as if there are no maps. Damn a map. We have to have the type of turnout that makes the maps null and void. That makes them inconsequential. Now, right, Miss Kiki, just vote. Now, again, they want us to be apathetic. They want us to feel defeated. They want us to feel like, yeah, we could just do whatever we want and we're going to keep power and there's nothing that y'all can do about it. There is something we can do. We can absolutely vote. We can absolutely vote. Nothing beats the power of the vote. Nothing. We have to vote. We have to vote early and often. So again, although this may have happened in Tennessee, we don't give a damn. We don't see it happen. It's going to happen in Louisiana. We don't give a damn. It's going to happen in Mississippi. We don't give a damn. It's already happened in Texas. We don't give a damn. And I told y'all, I expect Georgia to follow suit. Please be clear. There's still enough time for Governor Kemp in Georgia to follow suit like his other Republican colleagues. Now, we have to vote not as if our lives depend on it, because our lives depend on it. Let me say that again. We're not voting as if our lives depend on it. We're voting because our lives depend on it. I'm going to say it one more time because people don't comprehend. We're not voting as if our lives depend on it. We're voting because our lives depend on it. These are the same people that are trying to do away with our health care. These are the same people trying to take food out of the mouths of starving people living under the poverty line. These are the same people that are trying to basically kill our whole health system. They're trying to make health care unaffordable. And then for those who do have health care, they're stripping the CDC, the NIH, and all of the credible government entities that deal in medicine and healthcare of any scientific backing. These are all things that can kill us. Shall I remind you that they gutted FEMA and we're on the precipice in just a few weeks of another fucking hurricane season? We got lucky last year. We got real lucky in 2025. No major hurricanes hit the United States mainland last year. We might not be that lucky this year. And they've already gutted FEMA. They've gutted the NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Organization, and they've gutted the National Weather Service, in addition to the National Hurricane Center. All of these things have been gutted. These people are trying to kill us. So we have to vote not as if our lives depend on it, because our lives depend on it. And the lives of our children. That's it. That's all. In other news, in other sugar spiky news, well, then there's this. The U.S. State Department will begin revoking U.S. passports of thousands of parents who owe a significant amount of unpaid child support. The department told outlets today that the revocations would begin tomorrow and be focused on those who owe $100,000 or more in unpaid child support. That would apply to about 2,700 American passport holders, according to figures applied to the State Department by the Department of Health and Human Services. Now, that may seem far fetched. You know the type of people that usually accrue $100,000 or more of child support? Athletes, artists, entertainers, people who make lots of money. And traditionally, these same athletes, artists, entertainers, those people who get those large, absorbent child support payments, they're the ones who utilize their passports more than normal. And so, this absolutely, what does this do if you are playing in a sport that has to travel overseas? You notice that the NFL is having more and more games overseas. You think it may not be a couple NFL players that have $100,000 plus unpaid child support? Think it may not be a couple actors out there who may need to go film a movie in Canada or in another country that may not be affected by this? Dare I talk about the entertainers, artists and musicians and rappers and singers and stuff who may have that much money in unpaid child support, who may want to go on tour outside of the country? hmm Now, they're not going to stop there. They're going to eventually expand this program. They are going to greatly expand this revocation program to cover parents who owe more than $2,500 in unpaid child support. Uh huh. They're going to eventually expand the program for to cover parents who owe more than $2,500 in unpaid child support. Because maybe it wasn't enough. Maybe you weren't alarmed when you said $100,000. You're like, oh, I don't owe that much. But $2,500 ain't a whole lot. That's less than a year of child support. Some states do. I know in Florida they do driver's license in Florida. I know in Florida they do driver's licenses in Florida. That I know. Some states do driver's license. I'm just not sure of all of the states that do it, but I know in Florida they do. In other sugar spiky news, y'all know whenever you see this man, it's not good. Whenever you see this man, it's never good. A series of high profile and under the radar decisions by the U.S. Health by U.S. health agencies have scientists and doctors questioning the extent of the agency's control over public communications. And they say the debate is obscuring the most important part, which is informing the public about key updates in science and medicine. Studies on the safety of vaccines against shingles and COVID were reportedly quashed before publication by officials at the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. The news follows the hasty halt on publication of a study on the effectiveness of COVID boosters by the top acting official at the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and research terminated or never approved in the first place because of keywords such as hesitancy and misinformation at the National Institutes of Health, the NIH. The decisions threaten the reputations of U.S. health agencies and the public's trust in science and policy, and the surrounding tumult threatens to obscure important information to the public and the scientific community. Here's what's going on. Let me cut to the chase for y'all. There was a study put out by peer-reviewed, credible, or it was a peer-reviewed studies, credible studies, went through the entire scientific process, uh, uh, um, and that came out and said that the COVID boosters and the shingles vaccine are safe, and it's little to none or rare that there are any complications from both vaccines. Well, that didn't go along with this fucktard's conspiracy theories. So he ordered the CDC and the FDA to force to not allow the reports to come out. So even though these were peer reviewed studies, they went through the entire scientific process, and they have summarily been accepted as pedagogy and as scientific knowledge across the spectrum in the world of health, medicine, science, because they don't align with the ideations of these idiots. They put pressure on the FDA, the CDC, and the NIH to quash or to stop these reports from coming out and to stop it being put out to the greater American public, letting them know that COVID boosters and shingles vaccines are safe, because they want to fearmonger people into it. So now, having people afraid to take COVID boosters or take the shingles vaccine, that means you'll have more people contracting COVID, more people contracting shingles. COVID can kill you. Shingles is a brutally painful disease. Here we are. This is what I'm talking about when I say these people are trying to kill us. I'm just saying. I told you, Samara, I've been saying this since day one. This man is going to get us all killed. In other sugar spiky news, well, Rainbow Coalition compound, come see me. Come to the front. Come to the Whiteboard Rainbow Coalition compound. We got some things to talk about. As part of a Trump administration counterterrorism strategy targeting left-wing groups, federal officials will also target pro-trans rights organizations. A new directive released by the White House cites the assassination of anti-LGBTQ plus activist Charlie Kirk to justify the approach. Prosecutors say Tyler Robinson, the 22-year-old accused killer of Charlie Kirk in September, recently began dating a trans woman before the shooting and had recently begun frequently criticizing Charlie Kirk's rhetoric. The White House directive says the following quote, as real threats were ignored or underplayed, Americans have witnessed the politically motivated killings of Christians and conservatives committed by violent left wing extremists, including the assassination of Charlie Kirk by a radical who espoused extreme transgender ideologies. End of quote. Sebastian Gorka, who you see pictured there, he's the White House Senior Director of Counterterrorism. He also listed shootings by allegedly transgender shooters Audrey Hale and Robin Westman as examples of violence by trans activists. Notably, neither of those shooters nor the Robinson guy who shot Charlie Kirk appeared to be a part of any political organizations. However, they're using uh, 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 they're using Tyler Robinson as justification to target trans rights organizations. So now, if you are an organization that promotes trans rights or you're a trans right activist, you could be deemed a domestic terrorist by this country. Now, it won't stop there. You notice most mass shootings happen by white men. They're doing nothing. Nothing is being said about, white male extremists and the fact that they overwhelmingly are the ones who do all of these mass murders and kill people, right? Hey, yeah, Pen, let me say again, it's not going to stop with the trans community. It's going to morph into the broader LGBTQ plus community. So because all of the LGBTQ plus organizations promote trans rights. So organizations like the HRC, organizations like GLAD, and other organizations that promote trans rights and the greater LGBTQ plus rights will now be deemed domestic terrorist organizations. Now, it's not going to stop there. Remember, they've told you DEI is an affront to the American civilization, according to them. They're going after all minority promoting organizations. So lay round for the time when NAACP, BLM, and all types of organizations are are being looked at as domestic terrorist organizations. We already talked about the fact that DOJ is going after the SPLC, the Southern Poverty Law Center. It's already started. We're here. They're not even trying to be quiet about their racism, discrimination, and bigotry anymore. They are here letting you know what it is. They are overt with their racism, discrimination, and bigotry. In more sugar spiky news. Oh, stay right there, Rainbow Coalition Compound. Stay right there. We're not done yet. The Trump administration is facing a new federal lawsuit accusing the Justice Department of illegally dismantling protections meant to shield transgender incarcerated people from sexual abuse. Filed on Wednesday in a federal court in Washington, D.C., the lawsuit challenges a December 2025 Justice Department memorandum directing prisons and federal auditors to disregard portions of the Prison Rape Elimination Act, or PREA, regulations that specifically protect transgender people behind bars. The suit, Poe versus U.S. Department of Justice was brought by the National Center for LGBTQ Rights on behalf of Paulina Poe, a transgender woman incarcerated in a men's prison. The plaintiffs accused the Trump administration of attempting to erase federal recognition of transgender incarcerated people by informally suspending long-standing prison safety regulations without legally repealing them. According to the complaint, the Justice Department instructed prisons to ignore federal protections requiring individualized safety assessments for transgender people and ordered PREA auditors to stop evaluating whether prisons comply with those standards. Oh, you heard that. At the center of the case is PREA, the bipartisan anti-prison rape law Congress passed unanimously in 2003 after years of reports documenting widespread sexual violence in American correctional facilities. The law directed the Justice Department to create national standards aimed at preventing rape and abuse behind bars. The regulations implementing PREA took years to develop and were shaped by federal research showing transgender incarcerated people face disproportionately high rates of sexual assault. PREA protections finalized in 2012 specifically recognized transgender people as especially vulnerable populations inside prisons and jails. Here's what they want is they want them to be raped. That's the part they want. They absolutely want transgender people incarcerated to be raped. Why else would you tell people to no longer inspect on that or check that? Why else would you start telling prisons not to follow a guideline that was written into law? Because the cruelty is the punishment. I should remind you that we have countless numbers of allegations and cases of people being raped in ICE detention centers. Countless numbers. We have the rape of underage children in ICE detention centers all over the place by this government. So, of course, they don't give a damn about transgender people being raped. They probably would celebrate them if you caught them behind closed doors. Hell, and I'm not going to even say behind closed doors. Hey, Karen. Carl, it's the big five. You have to have the big five for them to care about you. Male, white, Christian, heterosexual, and rich. You have to have the big five. That's all they care about. You got to have the big five. White, male, heterosexual, Christian. Now, most people think they're good by having the first four. They forget they need the fifth one, which is rich. You got to have all five infinity stones for them to give a damn about you. Right. You got to have all five infinity stones for them to give a damn about you. It's time for our video breakdown. We need the video breakdowns today. Let's see what we have in store today in our video breakdowns. Here's the first one.
This is a court. When you come to court, please dress appropriately, okay? So I'll have you go fill out an application with Miranda.
That does mean, ma'am, are you in a bathrobe with no clothes underneath, scratching your boob? That's not appropriate for court.
No.
Okay, we're going to put you back in the waiting room. Go try again.
Ms. Outerbridge, I'm sorry that your daughter is sick, but again, you're in court, okay? And we're going to treat it as such. I asked you.
Okay, I'm properly dressed.
No, don't talk.
I have on clothes. I have on clothes. I have on clothes.
Fine, Ms. Outerbridge.
I have on clothes.
Did you think you were coming to the club today?
No, sir.
This is a courthouse.
Yes, sir.
I don't see a disco ball, man. For real.
I just come
Don't
forward.
come like this again.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh my gosh. What is your problem? Some clothes on before you come back in here.
Y'all listen. Y'all people are trying to go to jail. I don't listen. And I know Tracy C can attest, and anybody else in HR can attest. You bitches don't only do this shit in court. Y'all do this when y'all go on interviews. Like y'all do, like I don't even understand the mindset of some of these people. Like where you thought you was going, and then they got the audacity to get mad with you when you say, "Hey, baby, that's not appropriate here." Hey, baby, did you know where you were coming today? That's why we have our video breakdowns so that you'll have to so we'll always have to be so serious. We can laugh at some of these things, but I don't know what old girl over here scratching her titties and shit. Bitch, you know we see you. Bonnet on your head, scratching your titties and shit. Like, girl. But this is the fuck shit that we have going on. Here's our next video breakdown.
Yeah, you were trying to be. What the? Did you see? Ma'am? What? Roll your window down. Oh, she crazy. She trying to have her weekend be messed up. Get out, please. I need to talk to you about that. Cuff her. Cuff her. Oh, he cuffing the door to the cart. Good. 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 That's what she deserved. That's what she deserved. That's exactly what she deserved. She lucky we didn't do more. I know. You should be arrested.
That's good. What would make, ma'am? You bitches are going to jail. What the fuck is wrong with you people? What would make you think, ma'am, it was okay for, I don't give a shit what he did to you. When did you think it was okay for you to take that shopping cart and just roll it over there to hit this police car? What do you bitches be thinking about? Like, I know Tanya work over there in HR. Tanya, I know you be seeing some real bullshit. People be coming any kind of way. And what's so sad is, back when I was coming up, you used to could tell people, okay, at least try to put on your Sunday best or your church clothes when you go into the courthouse or when you go into an interview. The churches now let these people wear any and every fucking thing at fucking church. It's just a fucking mess. A damn mess. Here's our next video breakdown.
So it's gonna be $7 today?
Yeah, I've got cash.
Oh, cool. Sorry, you're missing $3?
That's unbelievable. That's Xavier's generation. Right there. That right there. That is Xavier's generation. Couldn't even do the math. Here's $7. Okay, here's the 10. No clue. Then tries to use the calculator. Can't even use the fucking calculator right. This is the fuck shit that I be talking about. This Xavier people. No, Xavier. Don't try to absolve yourself. The come as you are is what's getting people fucked up. Come as you are is I was always taught. You come as you are if you don't have it. Okay? If that's all you got and you ain't got it, baby, come as you are. But baby, when you have better, you do better. Come as you are doesn't mean, well, bitch, I'm just rolling out of bed and I'm coming to church. No, that's if you don't have it. And maybe when you come to the church,
Afterwards, we can take you down to, the Goodwill, Salvation Army, get you a nice suit or a nice dress, go put it in the cleaners for you, and you got you something to wear. A mess. We don't have bouncing checks, sir. These people, they don't know. Tanya, you can't talk to these people. It's just a fucking mess, a damn mess. Here's our next video breakdown.
This is the only way to see if he really takes showers.
He couldn't feel her writing on him.
Hey, can you stand up?
What?
Just to stand up.
Bro, I'm eating my oxtails and macaroni and cheese, man.
Just get your ass up.
Bro, you wildin'. What you want me to stand up for?
Just turn around.
Turn around. You want some freaky shit? Bro, it's not even, I'm eating and you trying to be freaky.
You haven't taken a shower like 5 days ago. I write down your tie. 5 days ago, you haven't taken no damn shower.
What are you talking about? You wrote on me?
Yes.
No, you did not.
Yes, I did.
No, you did not.
Just in case.
Ma'am, that don't make you look no better. You still with him. Clearly, before you wrote on him, you knew this dirty bastard only takes showers once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks. And you still decided to come and stay with him. It's not a flex, ma'am, that you putting this man all over Al Gore's good internet, okay? You look bad. Because people who know you and know this man gonna be like, so you just let him stick his dirty dick up in you? You dirty. You look. This is not a flex for you, ma'am. Not at all. Not at all. Xavier, I'm willing to bet you he looked that old and probably still part of your generation. He might look old, but he's probably. I can tell you, Xavier, he's probably early 30s, late 20s. I'm telling you, Xavier, I ain't making this up. Go look it up. He's probably early 30s. I'm gonna give him early 30s. You know it is a mess. Just a fucking mess. Here's our last video breakdown.
You cannot be driving, ma'am. What are you doing? Come on.
I'm not driving. I'm a passenger in a car.
You're still not. I'm not hearing cases with people driving or as passengers in cars.
I'm sorry. I have an emergency. I'm going out of town for a family member, but I will have my driver pull over. Hang on 1 second. I'm sorry. I didn't know that I wasn't allowed to be in a car, but hang on 1 second.
Am I crazy, or does it not look like you're driving that car?
I'm not driving the car. I'm a passenger in the car, sir.
Bitch, we see your
What side of the car are you on?
I'm on the left-hand side.
How would you be on the left-hand side if you're a passenger in the front seat? Am I missing something?
Right-hand side. I'm sorry. I've been sitting in a room. I didn't know.
Yeah, the seatbelt's coming off of the driver's side. Right? You know you're lying to me, right?
No, I'm not, sir.
Let me see the driver. Let me see the driver.
Hang on 1 second.
Now.
I have to ask their permission.
Now.
Oh my God.
Baby, the way I would have found her in contempt.
Do you think I'm that stupid? I'm entering a default judgment. You lied to me. Judgment 1921-85. Send me your counsel and put in there defendant was not available at the time and then was driving a car and telling the court she was not. I'm entering a default judgment. Have a great day. Thank you.
Stupid ass. Just as... Those are our video breakdowns of the day. I hope you enjoyed. Where's Tracy C? Tracy C, girl, we got more Tracy. Tracy, somebody go find my girl Tracy. Tracy, Tracy girl. I saw this. I said, I got to get this for my girl Tracy. I have to report on this for my girl Tracy C. Tracy C, I got an update, right? So if y'all remember, right? I have to keep y'all informed because y'all made the man got so many skanks littered all across the country. Okay, so remember there was the chick. Her name is that's Tyreek Hill on the right. We know who he is. He got we call him Johnny Appleseed because he planting seeds all over America. Okay, literally. So there was this case with the chick Sophie Hall. Remember she said that they was playing tag football or something and he tackled her and she ended up breaking her leg and stuff. Remember that case, Tracy? Talk about she ended up breaking her leg and everything and all of that stuff and he tackled her and all of that stuff and so forth and so on, right? She's the OnlyFans skank. Remember that? Remember, I want to make sure my girl Tracy remember. Like she said that he tried to tackle her like she was a football player and, shoved her to the ground and stuff and said she broke her leg and she had to get surgery and metal implants and all of that stuff. And she sued him for assault, battery, negligence, and emotional distress. And they in court. Well, in a deposition for that case, her attorney had to tell Tyreek Hill's attorney that Miss Hall and Tyreek, they had sex later that night after her alleged leg was broken. Just once, though. They had sex later that night. Just one time after she allegedly was injured and limping. And so much, her leg was fractured so much so she required surgery and metal implants. But the pain wasn't bad enough to stop her from getting her blocks beat in and getting her womb plunged, getting her back cracked. She still went through with that later that night, even though she claims, she was limping and all of that. She said that he helped her with ice and carried her upstairs to the bedroom. I guess this is before he helped her out by shoving his dick in her pussy. Now, he the whole time has denied intentionally injuring her. His attorneys have argued that she assumed the risk of participating in contact football drills. That she may have, he says, his attorneys say she might have tripped over his dog. And his attorneys are also saying that video evidence and their admitted sexual encounters that weekend undermine Ms. Hall's testimony. Now, jury selection began just yesterday down in Broward County for this case. At the time of this whole incident, he was currently engaged to Keita Vaccaro. But remember, we talked about that when he was engaged to Keita Vaccaro. Remember, Keita Vaccaro was pregnant and he had 4 other women pregnant at the same time. I told you the man is Johnny Appleseed. Nobody, ma'am, at this point, I find it hard to believe that you injured your leg that much. You literally went upstairs and got your blocks beat in. If you was in that much pain, man, am I wrong? Now, this is a civil case. There are no criminal charges here. No criminal charges have been filed with this leg injury. This is a civil case, okay? Mama trying to get money. I mean, I get it. Listen, I always say if somebody try to fight me, I'm not gonna fight back. If you graze me, I'm gonna fall on the ground and be paralyzed and take you to civil court. I don't want to go to criminal court. Baby, I need your money. Rub me my coins. I'm just saying. Antonia, I don't get it either. He was supposed to, well, no. Her kid went to one of his training camps, Xavier. What happened was, she her son attended one of his youth football camps. And she said, she after the football youth camp, right? 11 days later, he contacted her and she went over to his house for a casual visit. And they started doing football drills, just him and her. Of course, he said his trainer was present too. I could believe that. Y'all be down for the running trains and threesomes and all of that. She's the whole OnlyFans skank, so she probably good for a third. Maybe she was so drunk. I don't know. She ain't heard nothing but the cooter. Baby, listen. Pleasure is pain. Child. Like, she's getting her box beat in. Allegedly her leg broke, child. Demetria, she fucking with a broken leg, child. I ain't got nothing to do with it, okay? Baby, I ain't got nothing to do with it. I just report the stories, okay? I don't know what y'all want from me. I don't know what y'all want from me. It doesn't make sense. That's why it's no criminal charges. That's why they're in civil court and not criminal. It's a lower threshold in the civil court than it is in the criminal court. Miss E, I ain't got nothing to do with it. I just report the stories. Don't ask me no questions. I don't know. In other news, y'all's girl's Nneka might be coming back. Ain't this y'all girl, Nneka, from Real Housewives of Potomac, season before last? A DC-based reality series called The District is in negotiations for a development deal. The show follows a group of millennial go-getters navigating the social and professional scene in Washington, D.C. It was created by RYM, which is an events and marketing agency. I'm sorry. RYM is the owner of I guess that's a person's name, RICCA. Yeah, his name RYM. He's the owner of an events and marketing agency. He's also a close friend of Satana Ashley Darby. They say he done been on Real Housewives of Potomac a couple times. That he's been on that. So the Ricker guy said, quote, politicians come and go, but it's really our circle that runs the streets. End of quote. He added that the series will, quote, lift up the brunch white linen tablecloth to show the underbelly of DC, end of quote. They said that Big Brother 25 contestant Nicole Hayes and Real Housewives of Potomac cast member Nneka is supposed to be on there as well. Listen, Are y'all down for seeing Nneka? I don't want no parts. I won't be watching it. I'm just telling you right now. I won't be watching it. I won't be watching it. I'm just saying. I don't know who asked. I don't know. I I don't know why anybody would want to be considered the underbelly of anything. But I mean, what collects in underbellies? Sweat, schmegma, all types of bacteria and unsightly things collects in the underbelly. But but I mean, we're talking about NECA, so I guess that checks out. I mean, what do you want from me? I don't know if I'm going. I don't know if I'm gonna be watching Potomac next season. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't think I have it to do with Potomac next season. I just can't. I don't think I can watch Real Housewives of Potomac next season. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't have it to do. I just don't. In our last story of the day, Will Smith is in the news. So yeah. Um Will So remember the violinist guy Brian King Joseph, who said he was on tour with Will Smith and said that Will Smith was sexually harassing him. Remember him? And he's suing Will Smith for sexual harassment and wrongful termination, saying that it was a situation last year. He said that claims that someone entered his Las Vegas hotel room when he wasn't there and left a note that read, quote, Brian, I'll be back. Just us. End of quote. And he said that it was signed by a person named Stone F. And the Brian guy claims that the alleged intruder also left wipes, beer, and HIV meds. I, I cannot. I cannot. Wipes, beer, and HIV meds. I guess you need the HIV meds since you ain't got no condoms in there. Y'all didn't think to bring y'all didn't want no lube in there either. Let me get back to what we're talking about, okay? The dude also claims that Will Smith was grooming him and priming him for sexual activity. He said he reported the incident and then that's why he got fired. Right? Well, a judge came out with a ruling this past Tuesday. Now Will and his team put in a motion to have the case dismissed. Well, this past Tuesday, the judge said that Brian's lawsuit doesn't qualify as sexual harassment because it, quote, fails to adequately allege conduct that is sufficiently severe or pervasive, end of quote. And so he threw it out. The judge also said that Brian hadn't sufficiently pled facts that the only other people with access to his hotel room were Will or his management because he'd left his bag with his room key in a van with other crew members before it was returned to him a couple of hours later. The judge dismissed the case and threw it out. Sir, we didn't believe you from the beginning, sir. We just didn't. We just didn't. I'm gonna be honest with you. Nobody believed you. Nobody. Nobody believed you. Hey, Karen. Like, right, exactly. Nobody ever believed him. Nobody believed him. Could, like, really, wipes, beer, HIV med. Like, I can't. I cannot. Y'all, y'all got a lot to fuck going on. Y'all got a lot going on. Listen, that's the dossier for today. I'm about to get out of here, y'all. Tomorrow is Friday. At least I hope it is. Yeah, tomorrow is Friday. Y'all already know what that means. Tomorrow, be ready to bring y'all ass up here and talk to me. Don't ask no questions. As soon as y'all see the live is on, and as soon as I drop the damn link, just click the button. Don't ask me no questions. Don't come in here with your foolery and your foolishness. What you better do when I drop this damn link tomorrow is click the goddamn link and bring y'all asses up here. And I ain't gonna ask no questions about it. We not gonna ask no questions about it. Gonna keep going through this. We're not gonna keep going through this. Shout out to my cousin who signed his contract with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Shout out to him. I'm so happy for him. I'll call him later. But I'm happy for him. As he has signed his contract with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Anyway, as I always say, I love y'all. I love on y'all. Thank you all for being vocal, present, and active. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for any and all contributions that you make to the channel. They are much obliged and much appreciated. We about to get out of here, y'all. I'll catch y'all tomorrow. That's all I got for y'all. Until next time. Thank y'all for coming. Y'all drive safely. I'm out. Love y'all. We'll catch you next time.